Hello everybody! Sorry this is a day late. I just wanted to finish up the Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship Nintendo music video. Put that up yesterday, so you had to wait a day. But here we go. It's episode 7 of season 2 for Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This one's called I Go Down with the Ship. And if the last episode's title was kind of a lie, this title makes no sense. There's no ship that goes down, and Percy doesn't go with it. They're on a ship throughout the entire episode, but doesn't go down. In the book, that's a reference to Polyphemus destroying Blackbeard's ship that they used earlier, but that's not here, so he thinks they should have given this a different title. So we start off with so Annabeth is being held prisoner on the Princess Andromeda, and she has the Golden Fleece on Earth to heal her because, you know, Luke does still care. And Annabeth is having a flashback where after Talia sacrifices herself, Zeus turned her into a tree, like at the very edge of Camp Half-Blood. We see some Chiron, which we've only seen Chiron in an Iris message earlier this season, so it's nice to see him in full here. I love how Wikipedia summarizes this. It says, in the past, after Talia sacrifices herself, Zeus turns her into a tree, much to Luke's dismay. It makes it sound like Luke is just sad that Talia is now a tree. Young Annabeth is not really sure how to process all this. And then, of course, Annabeth wakes up in the present, and Luke's by her. And, you know, he wants to check on her to see if she's alright. Actually, no, wait, that's later. Percy, Clarisse, Grover, Tyson rode on Rainbow the Hippocampi all the way to... The Princess Andromeda is now, like, at Long Island. So apparently that means they rode the hippocampuses all the way from the Sea of Monsters all the way to Long Island. And I'm like, Rainbow's gotta be strong and fast to do all that. And the other hippocampi too. That's kind of weird. So that does mean the plot here, this is the most different from the book out of any of these episodes, because like basically nothing that happens here happens in the book aside from Percy and Luke fighting and Blackjack. Well, we'll get to that. Yeah, obviously they need to get the fleece, and Percy's like, okay, but we should probably try saving Annabeth, and Clarisse is, you know, arguably rightfully like, what are you talking about? Like, the fleece is what matters most. We need to get that to the safe camp. Like, Annabeth would want that. And because, you know, Percy's whole fatal flaw is like, you know, you could potentially sacrifice the entire world or a quest just to save a friend. And, you know, this is sort of like... But Percy is willing to at least kind of compromise by letting, like, Clarisse go after the fleece while he goes to rescue Annabeth. Meanwhile, Grover and Tyson are outside of the ship. I don't remember. This is why it's best for me to just record these videos, like, right just the day after I watch an episode, not 2 days after, because now I just don't remember specific details. At least we get some really great wholesome moments with Grover and Tyson. I've said before that they're my favorite characters here, and yeah, so it's great to see them interact. But yeah, Percy uses like Annabeth's hat to sort of sneak into the ship, like invisible. And here's when Luke goes to talk to Annabeth. So Annabeth's sort of like tied to a bed. Annabeth talks about how she dreamed of Talia's tree, and she goes, the fleece could heal her. The fleece could bring her back. And Luke's sort of like, he's not really sure what to believe, because apparently Kronos didn't tell him that at all, and now he's having some doubts. But he's like, goes like, no, that's impossible. That can't be done. And he sort of, I guess he leaves to like go converse with Kronos in his little coffin, which he takes the fleece off Annabeth now that she's fully healed and puts it on the coffin. And also that Allison girl is there, and she apparently, like, she's completely given herself over, while Luke's loyalty does kind of waver a little bit because of his connection with Annabeth and Talia. So she's not happy that Annabeth is being kept on the ship. That's when Percy like sneaks in, you know, unties Annabeth, and you know, sort of tells her what's going on. But here comes like other people. At some point, God. Why can't I remember? Alright, Wikipedia, don't fail me now. By the way, yeah, Percy and Clarisse both have key cards, which is how they get into Luke's suite in the first place. But yeah, when Luke leaves, Kronos tells Allison to kill Annabeth, which I think she could have decided that on her own, but alright. I guess when your big titan tells you to do, you do it. But then that's when Clarisse shows up. But yeah, Annabeth escapes. That's when like it's Allison and like 3 other demigods, and they were playing they were playing that card game Mytho Magic, which sounds like a book series that I might have. No, okay, I'm thinking of a book series called Mythomania. It kind of sounds like Mytho Magic. That was a book series that had like the entire Greek mythos told from Hades' point of view. So that's fun. That's when Clarisse has her 5 against 1, my kind of odds line. And yeah, she does sort of take them all on. Of course, now, part of that sort of, fight trick that I don't really like, where it's just like, when you're in a group fighting people, shouldn't all of you rush the single target at once? Like, but of course here they have like some people just sort of stand there and not do anything while the one fights off 1 or 2 members of the group, and only then do the others come in. Like, sure, it's a nicely shot fight scene, but it's, I don't know, that stuff all just kind of bothers me. But yeah, that's when Percy finds the fleece. He takes off Annabeth's hat for some reason. I don't know why. If you have something that makes you invisible, why not just keep it on like all the time? Yeah, he finds the fleece. Kronos like tells him, hey, if you let me heal, I could tell you what the great prophecy is. And Percy's like, at first hesitates, but when Kronos starts reciting the prophecy, he goes like, all right, I've made my decision. And he just yanks the fleece off Kronos's coffin. So, although the lines that Kronos says are accurate to what the great prophecy is. Half blood of the eldest gods shall reach 16 against all odds. Blah, 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 blah. I think he gets to like halfway through the 4th line before Percy just takes the fleece away. And that's when Luke finds him. He comes back into like that room, and they fight. They have a small fight at the end of season 1. From what I remember, it wasn't like too long. But here they have like a full, more extended fight that lasts about like 2 minutes. And the fight, choreography. That looks like it's very, like Percy is clearly putting up his own little bit of a fight, but Luke is very clearly on the upper hand. Like, he very clearly has the high ground. Percy does manage to escape. He goes into the elevator, but then Luke sort of stabs him. Like, there's a lot of ways to, like, movies have, like, sort of an elevator, like, sort of close, and then something, like, happens. Luke sort of stabs him, like, with the sword, like, just as the elevator closes, because, there's still a very, swords are thin. He collapses, but Percy has the fleece, so he just like puts the fleece on his chest to heal it. Wait a minute, I'm going out of order. I forgot. First, before Percy finds the fleece, he's on the outside where the pools are, and he notices something in like a tent. Like, goes inside the tent and reveals, oh, it's a black Pegasus. Because, Luke has been like holding it, like it's Luke's Pegasus that he's been like holding captive, and since Percy is the son of Poseidon, he can understand horses. So he frees the Pegasus, and the Pegasus asks to be called Blackjack. By the way, we don't hear what Blackjack says. In the book, because it's being told from Percy's point of view, we get to hear like everything that all the horse characters say, because it's all in Percy's head. But here we don't, and it's, I guess that's fine. I mean, it'll be a little weird. I think it might be a little hard to take like a talking, realistic-looking Pegasus seriously. So, sure. At the same time, Grover and Tyson are trying to find a way to, like, get back to camp, since it's sort of a ways out, since Luke is planning an invasion of the camp. It was gonna, like, it would have gone really well for him if he had fully healed Kronos, but, like, he still has enough of an army to, like, try to take down the camp now that the barrier is going to be almost gone once Talia's tree finally dies. So, Tyson calls up Percy's mom, Sally. I really like how Tyson's first question is, did you get my letter? And that's very, again, Tyson's just such a wholesome guy. Tyson tries to find like come up with an excuse to like get Sally to come like pick them up. Grover's just getting audibly frustrated, so he just grabs the phone and makes a really bad excuse, like, oh yeah, we were all on a field trip, but some of us missed the bus and we need you to get us back to camp. And Sally doesn't buy any of it. She's like, Grover, I've been the mother of a demigod for 14 years and a cyclops for 1. What is going on? She drives all the way over there. We got Percy, Annabeth, Clarisse, and regroup with Grover and Tyson. Although, like, once Blackjack is freed, because Luke's army is, like, on their way to camp, like, they need the fleece to get there ahead of time. So Percy gives the fleece to Clarisse and tells her to, like, go fly to camp since that's just faster. Especially since, you know, it's her quest. Technically, Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson aren't supposed to be there. And so she does that. And there is a little bit of a mini, like, arc thing with, like, Percy and Clarisse, where it's, like, essentially after Clarisse is like, no, we shouldn't go save Annabeth, Percy kind of, like, calls her friendless. Her prophecy is, like, the last line is, like, to fail without friends, to fly home alone, which is, the reason why Clarisse decided to just do her quest by herself. But like, the actual thing is that without friends, she'll fail. I mean, like, her going over to, like, help, you know, rescue Annabeth, like, from, like, Allison and the other demigods is, you know, a nice little bit of thing for her. And fly home alone, gets on the Pegasus and flies off without them. But, you know, Sally comes in with a car and gets Percy and Annabeth and Grover and Tyson, and they're now have to drive to camp. Annabeth is telling them all about, like, how, oh, with the fleece, we might be able to see Talia again. And Grover is also really excited, like, oh, that's great. Isn't that great, Percy? And Percy is just sort of, like, staring off, like, into the middle distance. He's just sort of like, well, he doesn't say anything, but, like, we get, like, a vision of, like, again, his dream where, like, Talia could possibly destroy the camp. So he's probably thinking, I'm not sure resurrecting her is a good idea. And that's it. That's episode 7. You know, I was kind of thinking this would be where we get, like, the big battle, but no, I guess the next episode is going to be that, which is really annoying because I was really counting on calling this video Showdown for the Fleece. But I guess that's the next episode, so, I mean, very clearly my memory is kind of fuzzy, but, like, I did enjoy myself quite a lot. You know, this season started off a little sluggish, I guess, but, like, it's been getting, like, better and better, like, as each episode goes on, yeah. I've been really enjoying myself, and I'm very interested to see how they do the finale. Yeah, next week is the last episode of the season. Episode 8, The Fleece Works Its Magic Too Well. So, yeah. I'll see you guys next week then for that. Bye.